Hi, I'm Aideen T. Finnola. I am a life coach, a public speaker, and an author of my memoir, which is entitled My Exquisite Purple Life: Insights from a Woman Who Never Should Have Made It But Did. And today I want to share with you guys the backstory behind my book and how I came to write a book and why I wanted to write it in the first place. So I've had a fairly fascinating life, which in and of itself is oftentimes prompts people to write their stories. But I really didn't ever have any desire to write my story. So I was raised by abusive parents who were zealous members of a religious cult. And I always tell people, my parents would have been abusive anyway. They're just very broken people. And so they were going to be abusive no matter what. But they decided to make it interesting and they joined a religious cult, which definitely put an interesting spin on it. Then, not surprisingly, I ended up in a marriage that I stayed in for 20 years that was abusive. And I would say the same thing about my ex-husband. He was going to be abusive anyway. He was just a very broken man, and he would have been abusive anyway. But he decided to put a very fascinating spin or twist on it as well, and he is a closeted gay man. And so when I was in my early 20s, which is when I left the cult, people started telling me, Aidee, you gotta write your life story. This is so fascinating. When they would hear about what it was like to grow up in the cult that I was raised in, they would say to me, you gotta write your life story. And I just really did not want to. I have never been that kind of classic writer who's like journaling all over the place and writing all the time. And I just have never been that way. I sure do love to talk and I love to share my story and my life and my insights, but I never felt like I wanted to write anything. So then fast forward 20 years and I'm in my early 40s and I find out and I discover that the man I've been married to for 20 years is a closeted gay man. And then people around me started saying, oh, now you really need to write your life story. I mean, this is like too fascinating, right? But I still didn't want to write it when all I was going to do was to just share salacious gossip, and, oh, did you hear, did you know that I grew up in a cult and, and my ex-husband is a closeted gay man, da, da, da. And none of that sat very well with me. The other thing that had gone on my whole life is that I really wanted to be able to contribute and I wanted to be able to share. And I really feel that the human experience is a collaborative experience. At least it should be a collaborative experience because we all have the best experience when we are contributing to each other and helping each other out. So I've always wanted to do that as well. And across my journey through growing up in the cult and leaving the cult and then going into that 20-year marriage and staying there and the abuse that I suffered in all those situations and trying to find my way out of it, I ended up with a lot of insights. Because the reason why the subtitle is Insights from a Woman Who Never Should Have Made It But Did is because as a result of all the abuse that I suffered and the lies that I had lived in the cult and that I was continuing to live in, of a different type of lie in my marriage, all of that ended up creating an incredible amount of pain in me. And by the time I was in my middle 30s, I was a pack-a-day smoker. I was very overweight. I was a heavy drinker. I drank like pots and pots of coffee all day long. I was a Taco Bellitarian. And most tragically, I was on a very high dose of an antidepressant because I was very suicidal. And I did come close to committing suicide a couple of times. And that's why the subtitle is what it is, and finding my way out of that, fighting through my own battlefield and fighting my own demons and making my way out of that, I gained a lot of insight. Why am I here? Why am I in so much pain? Why doesn't my life work? And struggling and wrestling to try and figure that out gave me a whole lot of insight. And then the reason why I wanted to share it was because I had been helped by other people who had shared. So as I was in my darkest days, I was listening to interviews of inspirational teachers and spiritual teachers and people who had survived abuse, people who had survived war, people who had survived being assaulted, people who had survived cancer, people who had survived, right? And they shared, and it made a difference for me. And so I felt really strongly that I wanted to be able to contribute to this whole discussion of the human race and to offer and to say, if you're struggling, I have some ideas that might help. I have some thoughts. I want to tell you how I made it through. I understand. I almost died. I almost died of a broken heart. I almost didn't make it through, but I did. And here's what I figured out. Here's what I learned. Here's how I made it through. Here's how I recovered. Here's how I healed my wounds. Here's how I empowered myself. Here's how I broke the chains of abuse and the patterns of abuse in my life. Here's how I figured out how to try and raise my daughters differently from how I was raised, and to try and break that generational abuse, that happens from one generation to the next. And when it came to me and my daughters, I did the best that I could not to pass that crap on to my daughters. I sure as hell wasn't perfect, but and so all of this came together, and I was like, oh, I have stuff I want to share. I have things I want to give, because it just might help you. And it just might be the thing that makes the difference for you, the way that what other people shared made the difference for me. And had some of those people not shared, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have Maybe I wouldn't have made it, If someone else had said, whatever, I'm not going to share my thoughts. I'm not going to share how I survived. And so I felt that very strongly that I needed to do that, and I needed to share what I had figured out. And that is why I finally sat down and wrote my story after 2 decades of being told that I should write my story. So my book is called My Exquisite Purple Life. And as you are probably wondering, why the heck would I give it such a positive title when I've gone through all of this crap, right? It's because in the end, I would still say that my life is amazing. And I am very happy with where I'm at right now. I'm so pleased with the way that I've made it through. I'm happy with every experience that I have experienced, or every experience that I've had, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, all the rest of it. Put it all together, and it's my gift to you, is all of my insights. So I cannot wait to hear from you. It is my greatest gift. It is the greatest gift that I ever experience, is when I hear from my readers to say to me how I felt about other people when they had shared how they had made it through their struggles. When my readers message me, email me, post on my Facebook page and say, oh my gosh, your book has made such a difference in my life. I am changing the way that I am handling things. I feel empowered. I'm changing how I am parenting my children because of the insights that you shared. Oh my God, that's the biggest gift for me. That is the biggest and the best gift I could ever have. So I can't wait to hear from you. I am so excited to have you read my book. It's available in print. It's available in e-reader. It's available in audio. You can get it any way your little heart desires. I can't wait to hear from you. I hope that you interact with me. I would be thrilled to have you go over to my website, learn more about the work that I do. If my story resonates with you, I am a life coach. I now help other people who are going through their battles, help them reclaim their lives from whatever their struggles are, so that they too can have an exquisite purple life. So head over to my website, check out the work that I do. I've got all kinds of free resources over there. I cannot wait to interact with you. My website is aideentfinnola.com. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you have an amazing, exquisite purple life, and I will talk to you next time. Love you. Bye.